I don't mean literally, as that could only be good boy. Hi guys, 26-year-old female here. I was cleaning the kitchen the other day when my significant other got home and he looked at me and said, "Good girl." Instantly, I froze and my ovaries nearly exploded. I don't know why, but those two words got me so in the mood. Because I don't really have a life. I've been Googling and apparently a lot of women love hearing this. So I started thinking about what the male equivalent would be. So men, what is it for you? Does good boy work? I know everyone is different, but maybe one phrase will stand out above the rest. Edit. Thanks for all the responses. Ask Men did not disappoint. I've been going through the comments with my significant other and we've had a great time. So it seems some guys do indeed love good boy, and others prefer something like yes sir. It's been a very informative couple of hours. I came here asking a silly question and left knowing I have a praise kink. You learn something new every day. Thanks to everyone who genuinely replied as well as everyone who made me laugh. And thanks to all the other good girls who are on the same boat. Just wanted to address a couple of the most commented things as well as give some context. 1. My new pet name for my significant other is Lord Commander Solar. Thought you might enjoy that. How am I not offended? My significant other actually does most of the cleaning in our house. I'm a messy person trying to get better. I do other things. I cook more than he does, take care of our pets, keep most of our schedule. In no way does our relationship resemble a marriage from the 50s. He wasn't perpetuating weird gender roles or anything. I think he was appreciative that I was making an effort. Not all women. Obviously, there's no female hive mind. Some of us are going to like certain things and some of us will hate it. It's super valid if you don't like it, but it's also valid that I do. He talked to you like you were a dog. When's the last time you saw a dog clean a kitchen? You have daddy issues. Actually, most of my trauma comes from my mom, but close enough, I guess. Story 1. This isn't sexual, but my wife sometimes says, "My man," like if I've done something nice for her or completed a task. She says it in more of a swooning way than a congratulatory way. More emphasis on man than my. Story 2. If you get turned on by good girl, you should probably find something more dominant for him. I've always found daddy to be a bit uncomfortable, but lots of people seem to like it. Story 3. First time my wife said, "Come in me, daddy," I lost it immediately. That's why I'm looking at Reddit while sitting in my plastic igloo at my daughter's travel soccer practice in freezing cold weather. Story 4. Nikki Glazer has a bit about a guy in the park saying "good girl" to his dog as he picked up her poop. Nikki hears it and gets turned on by it. I don't know if there is a universal male equivalent. I've always been fond of "you old donkey-dicked muff stuffer." That always gets me in the mood. Story 5. Not a man, but I need to reinforce this for men out there. I'm 46 years old, competent, professional, independent, and there's not much of anything my man couldn't get me to do if it's prefaced with a sweet good girl. And if you say it to me after I do something for you unsolicited, it's guaranteed to happen again and again. For sure, find out if this is your girl's thing. It's like a magic talisman with me. Sandwich, car wash, intimacy, personal identification number, 2 words. Story 6. Good boy. Just push that button for me. But I also think daddy and sir have potential. Although I might have second thoughts about being called daddy if I ever became a father and my kids were to start calling me that. I think darling would make me melt a little, but more in an affectionate love way than a sexual way. Story 7. So, story time. This day doesn't happen often, and by not often, I mean never. I've never been cooler than this day. My girlfriend's younger cousin has an interest in dirt bikes. I also love motorcycles, so he and I usually get along. One day, his dad dropped him off, and before the kid got out of the car, I heard his dad say, "You better ask nicely." So the kid walks up and asks if I can reattach a chain on his bike. He tried to hand me $20. My girlfriend comes out and greets everybody and looks over to me as I tell the kid to keep the money, but he's got to help. So I proceed to go over how to fix and maintain a chain. I can feel my girlfriend looking at me, but I'm making sure this kid doesn't hurt himself. With a cigarette in my mouth and a beer in my hand, I lean back down and finish the job for him. I lean back up, slightly covered in oil. This kid is super excited that I helped for free, so he grabs a soda out of the fridge and cheers me. "We got it done," he says, and I bust out laughing. I look over to my girlfriend, and she's giving me a look that is as enticing as it is terrifying. She says, after the kid and I made our toast, "Now there's a man." I could have picked up a giant oak tree and squeezed it into mulch with one hand after that statement. Story 8. I know exactly what you mean. When I brought my boyfriend home for the first time, I went to get him a towel from my linen closet, and upon seeing my neatly folded towels, he said, "You're such a good girl." It was like magic to my ears. Then we kissed. Story 9. This is exactly how I reacted the first time my boyfriend called me a good girl. It's hard to explain how hardwired I was to hate it. I was astounded at how immediately my body and heart reacted to it when he said it the first time, completely opposite of what I would have assumed based on my history. But when he says it, he means it, and he means it in the best ways possible, and it just drives me crazy. Story 10. Daddy, if that's how you roll, but master, sir, or lord, if he's the dominant to your submissive. If he's the submissive to your dominant, good boy is okay, but little fella or buddy is kind of sweet. Depending on the dynamics, sissy, tiny worthless little nothing, worm, filth, you, or why are you talking, moving, or touching, pervert? Did I say you could do anything but be a pitiful little sob machine? Can really set the tone. Story 11. It depends on the dynamic. Good girl is a dominant thing to say. You like him being dominant, and that's great for your relationship. You both mesh well. In that kind of relationship, calling him daddy will likely do it. If he wants you to call him something else, then he will speak up. If the tables are turned and you are dominant, then good boy will certainly work. In that kind of relationship, he could call you ma'am as a start, and if you wanted something different, then you'd tell him. Edit. Don't listen to anyone who says it's gross. It may be to them, but it's obviously not to you. Everyone has their own preferences. As long as you and he like it, everyone else can be ignored. Story 12. You are so smart, strong, sexy, amazing, and funny. You take such good care of me. You make me feel so safe. You crack me up. Wow, you are handsome. I love your blank as you stroke said body part. What would I do without you? Story 13. Women here. You might be like me and have a bit of a praise kink. On Ask Women, some women were talking about adoration, praise, dirty talk, and dirty praise. And yeah, that's good stuff. Story 14. There is nothing you can say that will make me feel sexy while I'm scrubbing a kitchen bench, but sitting down on it and giving me the look will work. What do you feel like doing now, sir, would definitely enhance this scenario. Story 15. At the risk of perpetuating stereotypes, most men are so starved for positive attention that just about any compliment is significant to them. Men rarely show emotions and appreciation to each other, so any recognition they get from their significant other goes a lot further. Story 16. Good girl rarely affects me that way. It's usually accompanied by a head pat because I am the dominant one and I deserve and demand head pats. But I do know what you mean. Sometimes he'll say it and I'm all over him, but not usually. I think it might be the tone. Like, normally I hear, "What a great job you've done. I'm proud of you and you should be too." But in a moment like you described, I will hear, "That's my good girl. And it's so hot that you're accomplishing things." Story 17. Good boy absolutely isn't it, at least not for the vast majority of men. Depending on what he likes and your relationship, daddy or sir might work. Personally, I love to hear "thank you, sir," but he might find those uncomfortable. Generally, it's probably going to be something expressing your submission to him and respect for him, rather than you praising him as if you're an authority figure. Story 18. I'll throw this one out there because it's the first thing that came to mind to me, although it's not quite the same. I want to have your babies. Story 19. Maybe this is more of a dominant and submissive dynamic than a male and female thing. Different guys might prefer good boy or yes, sir, or neither, depending on their inclination. You and every couple should take this survey together and thank me later. It lists various sexual and fetish things and asks if you're into it, open to it or not interested. If you agree on something, it's shared. If you don't, it isn't, so they never have to know you're into that stigmatized thing unless they are too. You might discover something about yourselves. Story 20. When is the last time you saw a dog clean a kitchen? Whenever I drop food on the floor. Jokes aside, nothing wrong with liking that, nothing wrong with thinking it is weird. Positive reinforcement is pretty awesome, and it is good for people to communicate about what type of reinforcement they think is appropriate. Story 21. Good boy or good lad turns me to putty. So yeah, that's probably the equivalent. I guess for context though, I'm a gay man. It might not be the same for straight guys. I honestly don't know. Story 22. You have a praise kink. Good for figuring it out. I don't think I have anything like that, but good boy is common in praise kink vocabulary, as is my big man or something similar, alluding to size or masculinity. But hey, now you know. Story 23. Personally, and I am only speaking for myself, being praised does not work nearly as well as praising others. Being called a good boy does not work for me nearly as much as calling someone else a good boy or girl. Taking on a submissive role does not really arouse me. That is my best guess as to why it does not quite work. Story 24. Well, I prefer badass or bad boy. Chingwan works for me as well. Good man, said by another male, gives me a sense of pride and belonging, like I'm doing the gender proud. But as a turn-on from a female, oh baby or babe works well for me. Maybe just my name said slowly or something. Story 25. Love your points of context. Well stated. It seems you and your significant other both enjoy good humor with each other in a sometimes sexy way. Good on you. May that vibe last until death do you part. May love and luck be with you. Story 26. Wait, I told my boyfriend, yes, sir, a few times, just like, yes, boss, or whatever, not thinking. I'd say the same to my dad sometimes, even to be a smart aleck or just respectful. So I thought nothing of my boyfriend asking me to say, yes, sir. Ever since, he's been asking me to say, yes, sir. I've been wondering, especially considering it's so out of the blue. I'm going to try to say it again unprompted and update. Story 27. I am also a good girl enjoyer like yourself. Sorry about all these weird comments, they are the weird ones because they aren't good girls. They are going to hell and we aren't because we are good. Story 28. My boyfriend is submissive in bed, and good boy has this effect on him. But if my partner ever called me good girl out of the blue for cleaning something, I would be extremely turned off. So yes, I think good boy is exactly the equivalent you're looking for in that sense. But your partner probably wouldn't like it. Story 29. There was a point in my life when I was sleeping with a woman 20 years older than me, and she constantly called me daddy, even though I was significantly younger than her. For whatever reason, that always got me aroused and motivated me to be more passionate. She's the only one who's ever done it, and it's never been something I've asked partners after her to do. But yeah, that always surprised me because I never thought it would. Sometimes it bothers me how much I loved it whenever I think back to it. Story 30. I don't actually know. Good girl works wonders because it reinforces the idea of dominant men and submissive women, but when you say something to a man that complements his dominance, it kind of comes off a bit weird, I find. Actions are better, I'd say. If he's doing something masculine, give him suggestive eyes, and it'll probably do the same thing that good girl did to you. Story 31. Personally, being called good boy is a turn-off. A lot of guys are saying sir or daddy. I'm unsure about the daddy thing, but sir is good. Master if you want to get kinky. Story 32. My man is something a lot of guys like, but I think it's more about how the woman is acknowledging that they are each other's that gets us going rather than the wording per se. Story 33. My wife paraphrases this cartoon and says, I love you just the way you are. My handsome genius of a husband. Story 34. First, I would be terrified to say good girl to a significant other because I completely believe it would not be taken well. Second, I don't think at this point words would have this effect on me because I have a lifetime of big talk and no action. Without something behind it, there aren't many phrases that would get me going. If you just mean something that makes us feel good, then phrases like, wow, that was very manly, If we do something strong or that was impressive, we're simply, I love what a great guy you are, can be very nice. Story 35. As a single man and a tough guy construction worker, I melt when someone gives me praise. When I tell my girlfriend I just finished doing the dishes, we don't live together. She always says she's proud of me. And that means the world to me. It's the little things that we overlook. Story 36. For all those saying daddy, just a reminder that, sorry daddy, I've been a bad girl, and forgive me father, for I have sinned mean pretty much the same thing. Story 37. Note to any guys that are innocently reading this and thinking, well, maybe my significant other would like this. I want to make them happy, and if it's hot, etc. You probably already know, but be very, very careful who you decide to say this to. There are also many women who would not like this at all, but be very angry. If it were me, I wouldn't chance saying this to the wrong person, but would instead ask your significant other if that would be offensive or hot before saying something like that to them in the wild. For me, something would blow up, but it sure wouldn't be my ovaries. My husband would never say this seriously anyway, though. Just saying to be careful. Story 38. Am I the only one low-key sad that my man doesn't call me names like this? When we first got together, we spoke a fair bit about what we each like. We're both switched, but I'm mostly bottom or soft dom, and he likes sub but usually falls into dom. Names are a good one for myself, but he's never actually used them, as far as I can remember. Story 39. I used to be friends with benefits with an older woman. I was about 22, and she was in her early 30s. When we were having sex, as I sort of finished, she'd pat me and whisper in my ear, "Good boy." I never knew how I felt about that. It was more funny than anything else. It was a relationship where the balance of power, financially and otherwise, was very much in her favor. Not that I cared. She picked me up in her soccer mom car from work. People thought she was my mom. Weirdly hot. Story 40. I think a lot of guys have a hero complex. They want to be the superhero of their own story and be viewed with admiration, especially by those closest to them. I think just genuine appreciation goes a long way. I can't think of anything in particular I would think would be a great name to use for praise to a guy, but the typical things that move me are, I am so proud to be of you. I can't believe how lucky I am for you. And, you are doing great. Granted, I think this applies in the reverse as well, since we all have to deal with not feeling taken for granted and wrestle with self-worth from time to time, but it doesn't make it any less impactful because we often hear from the world the exact opposite of these things. Some terms that are more dominant that can be used may include things like captain, sir, or big boy. Story 41. I would be instantly turned off if anyone said good girl to me, just not my preference. But I know guys who like it when a woman says good boy to them in a sexy voice. Haha. Story 42. Just saying something like wow or dang, babe in an impressed tone is good enough for me. But you could be more direct and just say, that's hot, if you're trying to get him in the mood. Or just pleasure him, whichever. Story 43. Good boy wouldn't work. Something indicating respect or admiration would get him to melt inside. Though, expressing love and tenderness works well too. Men rarely get to experience tenderness from a woman, and men crave it. Gentle, caring touch or grooming, like washing his hair, is like nothing else from a woman. My head feels like it's swimming,